Hola, 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 and welcome to the latest installment of And Sarah Appeared. My name is Sarah, and I want people to understand that I understand. And that was a line that Brian Grazer was giving in an interview on the Graham Bensinger platform. And it was an interview that he did a few years ago, but it's just the fact that I identify. I didn't expect to identify. I didn't expect that. For some reason, I don't know, but I didn't correlate that with someone of his caliber saying something like that, but it really does ground you, and it's yeah. When you have any kind of, for me, I have ADHD, but I'm also on the autism spectrum, but I have ADHD, and it's when you have something like that, it's you tend to kind of get in this mode of explaining yourself or expounding on an issue or a topic, but you break it down naturally to where you want a third grader to understand what it is that you're saying, because you know that there's something about you energetically that comes off kind of alien like to other people. So you don't want to really alarm them, because you may be a little different than the other boys and girls on the playground, and you don't really want to alarm them or catch people off. And it's already bad enough. Sometimes the adults, they'll already try to point things out, oh, this one's a little different, or oh, this, that, and the third. And it's you not trying to make nobody feel a type of way, so you have to kind of blend it in and be no, I am normal. No, I am. And the man said, I'm not on cocaine. I'm just high strung. Do you know how many times I've had to explain to people I'm not on, the only thing I do, I smoke weed and I drink kombucha. But I swear I'm not on anything else. People do not believe me. They don't understand it. I have adult acne in my face. They automatically associate it with heroin. And I'm just no, I'm naturally happy. No, I'm naturally high strung. No, I really do get up in the morning. That's why my hair all over my head too, because I get up in the morning. I saw this man, and he had his hair all over his head, and it was sticking straight up. And when I looked at his face, I said, oh my God, tribe. Because that's how it is for me too. I have too much going on in my mind. I have too much I need to write down. I got too much I have to say. There's so many things that I've observed. I don't have to look. I take some miel, I rub it in the palm of my hands, I massage my scalp, and I walk out the house. I don't have time to do all that with my hair. Not because I don't like doing my hair, not because I'm anti-weave or anti-wig. I love it. If you like it, I love it. And I actually love versatility in hairstyles. But my thing was, there's so much on my mind, and so much that I need to explore, and so much that I need to get out energetically and creatively. I don't have time to do all that in my head. I don't have time to just go and sit down and yes, granted, hair and makeup, that all matters, and that's very important, but when it comes down to it, I'm high strung. I'm not on cocaine. I promise you I'm not. I'm just high strung. I don't even know the test that you take for that, but I'm not judging if anybody is. To each its own. Everybody has their own thing. Everybody has what they're into. I don't have a heaven or a hell to put anyone in. But for the people who are like me, who are just, you wake up and you're lit all the time, and it's you don't know how to really computate turning it or dialing it down, but then in your private time, you love seclusion. It's very weird, because when you get out around people, I naturally am kind of performative. That's just how I am. Like, I want people to feel comfortable because I radiate weirdo energy. I'm just now at the age where it's like, you radiate weirdo energy and it's time for you to bottle it up and sell it as a perfume. Like, that's what you radiate. Just don't ever stop radiating weirdo energy. And it's like, you got to accept it for what it is. And when I say weirdo energy, there's going to be some things that you do and some things that you interpret. There are going to be some things that you do, some things that you interpret, some things that you say that other people are going to be like, that's very just like, that's so weird. That's very strange. And it's like, it's not. It's just how my mind works and it's how I view things. But it's not. There's nothing like strange about it. I don't believe there is. I don't believe there's anything strange about, being observational, being around people, kind of being a firecracker. And then when you're on your own, it's just like, hey, I'm in my own element and I really don't want to talk to anyone. And I really don't want to socialize with anyone either. I just kind of want to be in my own corner, like creating and doing something. I don't care. I don't care about anything else and all of this. There's times where I have to just unravel. And that's why I go into nature. I go into nature because I really do unravel. But with that being said, everything that he was saying and describing, and as far as like, I don't know, the nuances and the quirks, I found it fascinating because I was like, there it is again. There is something about this, like, it's something about like the way the mind works, and it's something about people who, I don't know, whether you have a label on you or not, when it comes to how you think and how you perform and how you operate. Some people call it ADHD. Some people say, I have this, I have that, I'm on the spectrum. Other people have autism. I really think that it's a superpower, but it's something that you have to really work through and like swim through. I even like could identify with not being able to read until like the 5th grade. With that, I totally understand because I was not able to drive until like 25. Like, it just was not there. It wasn't computating. And then with me, I always accelerated with reading, writing, and like history. But I vividly remember that I couldn't do math for anything. I literally could not. Like, and at one point I was able to, but something happened and all my math capabilities, I don't know, it was just gone. And I kind of had to improvise with that. And then the first time that I really remember like praying with an intention, the only thing that I had going for me was I was always an accelerated reader. I was always able to read and do that was the one thing that I had going for me all the time. And one day I got up and I sat on the side of the bed and I had a piece of paper and I picked it up to read the piece of paper, and I couldn't read what was on the piece of paper. Everything looked foreign to me. It was as if the letters were written in like Russian oligarchy or something. Like, it was just like, what? I panicked because I let it slide with the math thing. Like, I was just like, all right, whatever. But when it came down to my reading capabilities, this was the only thing that I had that kind of made me different, that made me stand out. But this was the only thing that I had to talk to. Books used to talk to me. I really didn't have nobody to talk to because I wasn't really able to express myself. So imagine the only form of communication that you really have to express yourself and kind of escape, because I was a kid. I didn't have weed back then. I didn't have escapism. So the only form of escapism that I had was in the words. And I sat on the side of my bed and I couldn't read nothing. I panicked. You talking about calling on God and praying. It was at that moment where I really, in my heart, I had to feel for God. Because my cry was, this is the only thing that I have that keeps me from not being tossed out. Everybody else already sees that there's something off or something going on. And then you have other people who say, hey, you're brilliant. And then you have other people that say, what's wrong with you? You're brilliant. You have all these things going for. What's wrong with you? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why everything is going and coming at the same time when it comes to intellectual capabilities. And it seems like I'm racing and I'm going in and out of myself. But I want it back because these words, this literature, even the history, even when I'm like reading history stories and I'm a young kid, but I'm seeing in my mind's eyes actual replays of kind of like what's going on. And there's no picture or illustration to give me, but I'm able to create the scene. I prayed out of desperation because that scene was gone. I mean, I sat up on the side of the bed and I prayed thoroughly until the words started coming back onto the page for me. I have no idea what that was. I don't know what happened. I don't know how did that happen. How did you wake up one day and all of a sudden you just couldn't read anymore? But I know one thing. I had to go in the realm of the spirit and I had to fight to get those capabilities back. Something as simple as reading. And from there, I don't know. Since then, I think I'm at a point right now where it's like the reason why none of my relationships have really worked out either is because I've been having an affair on my dreams. I've been having an affair on my aspirations. I've been having an affair on my goals with mundane, everyday society. I gave up on who I was because I was made to believe that who I was fictitious, and I didn't deserve it. You don't deserve the gift that you have. You don't deserve what you were born with. And the truth is, I never knew what I was born with. I never knew what I had or who I was. And it takes time to be able to really get groomed in that, trained in that. Like, you have to be able to find the groove and the current of who it is that you are. Because if you don't do that, you'll be trying to find a mold of what it is, an aspect of who you are in people. And the truth is, it's like, no, like, I think that's what's been going on. This is an aspect of who I am, but this is not really who I am. And what I have in me is so aggressive. It needs some of my time right now. It needs me to develop and work with it in order for it to say, okay, now we can co-create together. Now we can coincide. It's myself against my true self, or what you would call your higher self. And it's like, it's the God in me that's saying, excuse me, where's the worship? Yes, it's fine to be expressive and be exuberant in church and feel the thrills, but where's the creation? That's where the real godlike is at. That's where the real godliness is at. And it's like, I'm not trying to be a God. I'm not trying to be God. I want God to be God. But then God's teaching me, in order for me to be God in your life, we got to work together. And in order for this to work, you got to worship through your creativity, through what you do. What you create is true worship. And so having that internal dialogue, but also having that struggle and that fight, there's least resistance when I just surrendered to what God needed from me. The reason why my relationships never panned out the way that I wanted them to go is because God was like, is this what you really want? Is this what you really want to do? Or is this an aspect of who you are? But you're missing other pieces of who you are. Why do you go outside of yourself to find fulfillment and answers when everything that you need is within? Why do you need permission to be happy? Why do you need permission to be attractive? Why do you need permission to exist? Are you really going to allow societal norms and what your community says is the status quo? Are you really going to allow that to smolder you into a corner and never be seen or never be heard or never be felt? Going through life without having any kind of romantic endeavors, not just with people, but you don't even have a love affair with yourself. You're not having a love affair with life. You're not having a love affair with what you want to experience. And so that's why I started to go out in nature. I needed something that was unpredictable and untamable to literally impact me. I needed something that was unpredictable and unattainable, something that I could not control. I needed to be in that environment. I needed to be in a great surrender. And there was nothing that was greater to be surrendered other than nature. There was nothing that could make me submit more than nature. Nature made me realize nothing that I was going through mattered. But at the same time, nature listened to me better than people in my own community could listen to me. Nature listened to me when everybody else was like, you're crazy. The wind understood me. The water understood me. The sun understood me. I went hiking and I fell on rocks and scraped my knee up. And I had gone through so much emotional turmoil that for the first time, physical pain wasn't even an issue. And the way my blood was stained on the rocks, it was just like, okay, we've had worse than this. I don't know. We've had worse than this. But yeah, I just wanted to people to understand that I understand. Bye for now.